Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. So today's video is my daily routine. So I just wanted to explain before we get into it that at the moment me and my boyfriend Sam are looking after all of the animals on the farm. So normally I live with my parents on the farm, but they've gone away on holiday, so the responsibility of all the animals is on my shoulders, and we have to look after and health check them and feed them each day. So you'll be seeing every single one of my animals in this video and what we have to do every single day to look after them all. So this is the summer routine. So the horses are living out currently, and I'm not riding at the moment while my parents are away because they don't want me to risk being injured if I fall off or anything, because I have to look after the horses obviously, and there'll be no one to look after them. So that's why I'm not writing this video. It's basically just all of the care that they have from morning till evening. So with all that said, here is my daily routine.
So the first thing I do in the morning is come downstairs and let Anna out. So we have to make her wait when you open the door, because she likes to go and try and chase the rabbits that are always on the front lawn. Then I'll pop the kettle on just before I head down to let the chickens out. So we have a few ex-battery chickens that all live in separate little huts, because some of them are from a first lot of ex-batteries that we had, some of them are like a newer lot, and then some of them are either the ones that get picked on or the ones that bully the others, so we've had to like separate them as well. So basically the first thing we do in the morning is just let them all out and give them a bit of corn. Then it's time to feed the pigs. So I have two pet pigs, Primrose and Pickle. Primrose is always fed first, and then it's Pickles, and they just get some pig nuts. And then the last thing I do before I can come and have a coffee and generally wake up is to check the rabbits' waters. They don't get fed in the morning with their pellets, they just get fed that once daily, but they do get hay in the morning. They also normally get lettuce in the morning, but I just gave them hay this morning. So then it's back into the house to have a cup of coffee, watch the news, and then get ready to go round and do the horses. So I pop their hay nets, their sun protection like their boots and their fly masks and all the bits and bobs on a barrow, and then I head down to the fields to give them their hay nets. So we give them their hay nets and then pop their fly masks on, and then they're sprayed with fly spray. Caramel was not feeling like having her mask on today and decided to canter off around the field instead. We did get it on eventually though, so we did get them there in the end. You just sort of have to follow her about a bit and then she kind of just gives up. Then it's Mr. Chili Pepper's turn. So he is looking very muddy at the minute because we had a lot of rain and Chili loves rolling. He's a typical grey and will not stay clean. So I just give him his fresh net and pop his fly mask on. So Chili also has his inhaler and his Piriton, so I forgot to take the keys round to grab the Piriton out of the feed room first thing this morning. So I had to do this a bit later on, but this is normally the time that I do it, so I've popped it in here. So then we have Lucy, who again, fly mask on, hay net, and I just do this for all the horses. So the reason Danny doesn't have a full fly mask is he's a bit of a diva and won't let you put a full fly mask on him at any time. So he just has the nose net attached to a head collar during the day. And he has his boots on as well. And then we have my old boy Taffy, who again, hay net, fly mask, spray and boots. So then we have Charlie, he has his hay net, and Charlie doesn't need a fly mask on, mainly because of his really long mane and forelock. But he does need sun cream on. He has a very, very pink nose. He doesn't really like having his sun cream on, as you can tell for the fact that as soon as I open it, he runs away. This is really good sun cream though, by the way. I would definitely recommend it because I've struggled with him before. So yeah, if you do have a horse with a pink nose or any sort of pink areas that need sun cream, I'd definitely recommend this. If you can get it on them. Charlie doesn't really put up much of a fight. So you can get it on eventually. Me and my boyfriend Sam then split duties, so he goes and poo picks all of the fields while I make up all of the hay nets. So my horses get a hay net 3 times a day. They get a morning net, an afternoon lunchtime net and an evening net. So the first nets I always make are the lunchtime nets in preparation for today's lunchtime. So they all get a mix of haylage. So Chili, my big grey, he can only have ryegrass, so he's on Equilage, and the others are just on a mixture of different haylages that are generally the low energy, because a couple of mine are retired now. And then Charlie and Caramel are on hay. So I just fill the barrow up with all of the hay nets for lunchtime, so that's all ready to go for the afternoon, so I can just grab that. Then I tend to do the evening nets and pop these on the steamers that we're not currently using. And then finally it's time to do their morning nets for the next day. So in total there's 18 nets to do, which does take quite a long time, and we weigh them all just so that we know how much each horse is getting. Then this way it's really easy to adjust if we need to make any changes to their body condition. If they start losing weight, gaining weight, then we know exactly how much hay they're getting, and we can change this accordingly, because as you'll see next, my horses don't get fed a lot. They don't need a lot of hard feed. In terms of concentrates, they get mainly roughage, which is obviously what a horse's diet should be, and as none of mine are really competing at the minute, they're not fed up. So once I've done all of the nets, I then go outside and grab the buckets from yesterday. So if it's nice weather, I clean the buckets and then leave them outside to dry. So I'll go grab those and make my way to the feed room to make up their feeds. Now, as I mentioned, my parents are away, so this means that Mum's already prepared all of their feeds in little zippy bags. To be honest, I'm not too sure why she's done this, but I think she just did it to help me out while I'm looking after all the animals. And to be fair, it does make it a lot easier. So I just have to empty out each feed into the correct bucket. And then because Taffy and Danny are quite old now, they're both getting on for about 30, they don't have the best teeth, so we wet their feeds in the morning to let them soak, and then the pony nuts are all obviously nice and soft by the evening, but the others' feeds are mixed later on in the evening, so it's just those two that have them in the morning, just so it's nice and soft for them and easy for them to eat. So once I've done all of the hay nets and all of the feeds, it's time to tidy up. So I just cover up all of the haylage just to keep it fresh because the haylage dries out. And then give the barn a quick sweep so that it's just nice and tidy. That's generally the morning routine for all of my animals, so when I've finished round at the stables, I'll jump in the shower and get changed. So as I'm looking after the house and everything, I then tidy up, put all the dirty plates in the dishwasher, do some washing, and then it's just generally mundane little things that need doing around the house each day. And then finally, once all that is done, it's time to feed me. So after all the other animals have done, animals come first in this household, then it's time for my breakfast. So this morning I cooked Sam's breakfast, and then I had my own, which I just had some Weetabix, which is normally what I'd eat, and lots of coffee. There's a big theme with my videos. It's that I drink a lot of coffee because you need it when you're looking after 6 horses, trust me. For breakfast, me and Sam generally just sit, watch the news or some sort of programme, eat breakfast and just chill for a little bit after our busy morning. So this particular day was a day of sort of running errands. We needed to drop a few things off at the post office, and we also did a bit of a food shop. Horses. So that's sort of the morning done. Really, any jobs that need doing are generally done in the morning. So then I go around and feed the horses their lunchtime hay nets. We tend to do this about 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon, depending on how our day pans out. So Chili has his Piriton tablets crushed up and popped in a little pot to be given. So he has Piriton tablets 3 times a day, and he has 5 each time, so he has 15 a day. And then we just take all of the hay nets down. So each horse gets their specific hay net. And Chili gets his Piriton and his inhaler. So you'll probably notice at this point none of them are wearing any of the fly masks or anything that I put on earlier. So they didn't have their fly masks on the day that I filmed the rest of the day, if that makes sense. So the morning was filmed one day and then I filmed the rest of it a different day. So that's why there's the incongruence there. So yeah, they all get their hay nets. And that's pretty much it for lunchtime. They just get given their hay nets. And then once again, once the animals are fed, it's time to feed me and Sam. So for lunch, I just decided to make myself some chicken and veg. I think Sam made himself a sandwich. We don't always eat the same things. And I tend to make enough so that I don't have to make lunch every single day. So I made enough for 2 meals so that I can have this lunch again tomorrow. So as it was such a nice day, I decided to sit outside and eat, which made a really nice change, and the weather has been beautiful recently, so it's so nice that while we're here on the farm looking after everything, we get the chance to sit outside and just enjoy being on the farm. And then in the afternoon, we sort of have between 2 and 5 to do whatever we want, normally watch a bit of TV or do any jobs around the farm. So on this particular day, I got changed and then went to go start painting the field shelters. So all of the horses have their own field shelter, and at the moment they don't. They're protected wood, but they're not painted. So I've painted Caramel's already, and today I started painting Charlie's. So by this point it rolls around to about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock depending on how our day's going, and it's time to go and do the horses for the evening. So the evenings pretty much the same as every other time. We just go around, give them their hay nets, but they also get an evening feed. So I prepare the barrow by putting all the nets on, chop up some apple to give Chili's inhaler with, so I hold the apple while I spray the inhaler, or sometimes I'll spray it and then like hold the thing shut and then open it as he breathes in. It's quite a sort of difficult balance giving him his inhaler, and he also doesn't have separate Piriton because his Piriton's in his evening feed. So then I'll put some water in the feeds. I put a little bit of water in the 2 that have already been soaked. I don't really know why I do this, but I just always have. And then I give those a good mix, stack them up, and on the barrow they go. So I give each horse their feed and pop their hay net up. So I will do a video showing you all what I feed my horses in terms of how much haylage or hay they get and exactly what feed we give them. So I'm going to do that in a completely separate diet video, but on an evening they just get their little feeds and their hay nets. So once all of the horses are fed for the evening, I bring all their buckets up, and I've started now giving them like a proper wash, just because they've got all brand new buckets and I want to try and keep them clean, and when it's been muddy on the ground the buckets can get quite dirty. So I like to rinse these out, and then I fill a large bucket with a little bit of fairy liquid and some water and give them all a really good scrub. And then if the weather's forecast to be okay, I generally just leave them outside to dry and I'll grab them in the morning. And it's just a case of popping everything back where it belongs and locking the barn up for the evening. So the second part of my evening routine is going to see to all of the small animals. So Anna normally joins me and we'll go and feed the rabbits. So each rabbit gets a scoop of food. The big grey rabbit, Ariel, she gets hers in her dish, whereas Dottie and Nala prefer to eat theirs off the floor, so that's why they get them on the floor. So that's the rabbits done for the day, and it's time to feed the pigs again. So the pigs just get half a scoop of pig pellets each. So these are for pot-bellied pigs. Even though mine technically aren't a pot-bellied breed, they are Kuni cross Vietnamese, which is why they're sort of not the largest but not the smallest. So your Vietnamese is your smallest and then your Kuni is quite a large pig. So that's why they're quite a medium, but this is the best feed for our pet pigs. So once I've fed the piggies, it is then on to the chickens. Now I have to admit the chickens are the bit that I like the least, just because I don't really do birds, they're very flappy. So normally my dad does these, but seeing as I'm looking after them all, I'm doing the chickens. So we grab some of their layers pellets and some of their corn. And as I go in, I just sprinkle some of the corn for them, and then I pop their pellets into their various feed dishes. And as I'm doing this, I just give all the chickens a quick health check, just to make sure they're all okay. And we clean out all of their bed areas and remove all of the eggs. So each sort of egg box gets cleared out of any poo, and the bottom of their coops are cleaned out as well daily. You know, the chickens always like to help with that as well. And then it's just a case of removing eggs, removing any poos. They do get a full clean out every week, but on a day-to-day, part of my routine is just to remove the poo. And obviously check their waters and fill any up that need filling. So then that is it in terms of feeding and cleaning out any of the animals that live outside for the day. So we head back inside, and then it's time to feed Anna. So Anna gets a can of wet dog food and then a couple handful of normal dry food in her diet. I just give her that mixed up, and that's her ready to go. So once all of the animals are done for the day, it's time for me to cook my tea. Now on this particular evening, me and Sam decided to go out for a meal. So that was our evening really. The only other thing that happens during my day is about 10-11 o'clock at night. I have to go out and put the chickens to bed. So all of our chickens are really good and already get in the coop, so I just close the doors. But that is my daily routine and everything that I have to do each day while I'm looking after all the animals on the farm. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.